Hi and welcome. I'm Oracle Asherah. This is an angel energy guided reading for all you fixed signs. So we are talking to Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. All right, let's get started. Okay. Okay. All right. As we are all mystical beings available and connected to all sorts of gifts, powers, and talents, we always like to focus on our psychic development, right? All right. So I don't necessarily want to dive into how we do that because everyone's journeys are quite different. But I do encourage you going on into your own journey of your development. So that can source out from all kinds of things like other people's work through their books and what they've put out into the world. Or what I like to encourage is your own development and own connection to your high self and spirit. Okay, so as we have a stronger connection with ourself, we also therefore then have a better connection with spirit, God, our guides, our angels. We all have teams. Okay, so when we're talking about our psychic development, I like to say spiritual development. Okay, we all want to be gifted in seeing the future, but I don't think people can handle that responsibility or knowledge or wisdom, because we can't even handle present advice, never mind advice that doesn't make sense from the future. So when we're focusing on such energies and development, let go of any expectations, wants, desired outcomes, and gifts in this direction, because God and Spirit will allow our development with our care, our integrity, our responsibility, and our consciousness and awareness. Okay, so let's just focus on our consciousness and our awareness. We need to learn to sit in the witness seat of ourself, because as we do that, then we become more aware of influence and inspiration. We get more aware of our thoughts. Are they our own? Is it something influencing me or something inspiring me? Is what part of my thoughts are programs of beliefs, feelings, and trauma response? So when we start clearing and working all those things, we can then address our karmas, and that's our attraction of lessons and things we need to address and become more clear and presently loving beings. So when we start clearing our karmas, our lessons, and doing our shadow work, then we become better instruments. Okay, so I deeply encourage this path, and then with our abilities will then shine. Okay, everyone has different gifts and different purposes. Okay, yes. All right. Okay, so I also being encouraged you guys to retreat. So this means pulling back, and I like to say pull back from the world. Okay, so if a lot of your stimulation and engagement is taking up a lot of your time, then I recommend spending more time for yourself. So that would be for your physical care, so get more exercise, your spiritual care, so more prayer, more meditation, be more conscious aware of what we're putting into our body, and that's not just food. Okay, social media, things that stimulate all our attributes. Okay, and that comes right down to our sexual attribute. Be very careful of what we are inviting into our eyes, our mind, our spirit, and our body on all levels, okay? So when we become more aware of these energies, these responsibilities, then your psychic development will get more of a kickoff, okay? So that is a great direction of path. Okay, I am being shown here that some of us are having some anger issues, or dealing with external anger at us. So regardless, let's all focus on ourselves. Okay, we all can have some deep-rooted anger, right? We're angry at the world, we're angry at how we were brought up, we're angry at our traumas, our predators, angry at ourselves. Okay, so all these things can boil up. Okay, all these things can affect our mood, our behavior, and our response. I guess behavior and response is pretty close, but we want to be higher vibrational beings. We need to address our anger, not ignore. Okay, healing is very important, so that compiles in with forgiveness, compassion, understanding. Most of the time, we need to be heard. Okay, but I'm not talking you talking to somebody else, or you talking to who did what to you. I'm talking about you talking to yourself. Okay, I'm talking about you addressing your inner child who is carrying the burden of all your life experience from birth to present. Okay, so they know your story, they are your story. So when we address to heal our inner child, we need to help ourself unload, unpack. Okay, so that's saying, you're not there anymore. I hear you. I understand. We have created boundaries. Those are in place. You're not going to experience that anymore. I'm going to protect myself and being myself, your inner child. Okay, so when yourself believes yourself, then those things will shift internally and then have an outward effect. Okay, so take a deep breath. It's all good. Okay, everything is perfect. You are great. Okay, all right, so healing energy, changes, and truth. All right, so when we are retreating and we are dealing with our own stuff, right? So that's listening to our inner child. We hear, we listen. We're creating and opening this healing energy. Okay, so that can be through prayer, meditation, both, whatever works for you. Sometimes when we're driving and our physical bodies are distracted with a job, our brain and soul can then be like, oh, we have moments all over the place. Okay, so go for walks. If you're listening to music in the vehicle, I would rather I'd be open to suggest music without lyrics or any emotional response, because when we're listening to things that we're familiar with, those are triggers. They'll trigger this, this, and this, and then the brain has another job. Okay, so if we're just listening to something that's flowing and we're not familiar with, we don't have an emotional or memory attachment to anything, then we can start digging into our monkey brain. Okay, so rather at the end of the night where we lay down, it all starts churning. We can allow that to happen on other times of our day when we're open to it, and oh, I didn't think of it like that, or oh, I felt that, or yeah, and then cry because you're by yourself, no one's there. Just things need to happen, right? Emotional releases are very important. You shouldn't feel shame for crying. Okay. Our tears hold words and stories there are no words for. That's better. There are no emotions. Okay. I got overwhelmed in that. All right. So our tears hold stories there's no words for. Okay. And we don't need to be talking to other people. This isn't a confession. This isn't anything like that. So this is just an awareness moment. Allow it to happen, allow it to come out, and feel it, move it, and then allow yourself the freedom of that. Okay, changes. All right, so don't be afraid of changes. I know us fixed signs are very, well, this is what I thought, this is what I felt, this is what I believe. So we kind of cling to those things a little aggressively, okay? So there is more power and flow than being stuck, okay? There is less wound to self by letting go than hanging on too tight, okay? When you hang on too tight, you suffocate people. You can hurt your own self, okay? So allow things to flow, freedom of expression, okay? And if there are such things as angers and stories and all these things, it's best you sort it out and then come to a place of resolve and then not make that everyone else's responsibility, okay? Because when we do that, then we can push people away. We can cause fights. We can cause all kinds of chaos. But we could have avoided some of these things just by addressing it internally and addressing ourselves and seeing that we can create the change we need in ourselves, and then therefore our relationships, our jobs, or whatever it is that is our story, okay? And truth. Truth is a powerful but tough one because nobody likes truth, sometimes including ourselves, okay? Being a truth seeker is definitely an interesting journey in a world of lies, manipulation, destruction, control, abuse, all these things, right? So sometimes that also can fuel the anger, the frustration. I'm not safe. I'm not happy. Okay? So we need to be in control of ourselves, our mind, our emotions, and that is through consciousness and awareness, not bottling it up, not ignoring them, but being aware and giving it time to flow. And that would be in a place of retreat, okay? Not at the dinner table where we're lashing out or trying to convince people or sort our stuff on or through other people, just as an example, okay? Okay. Let's see what energies. We're going to focus on the self. What energies do we need to look at here? Okay. Okay. All right. So love. All right. Self-love, love of others, unconditional love. These are all very high vibration, okay? So we are of great passion, great devotion, okay? We are abundant with love, and then sometimes that can be I'm going to attract that. Balance. Okay. I don't want to say love is distracting. I was just like, that's not the right word. Okay. So balance. Okay. So we need to love ourselves. We need to love our environments, our home. We also need to love people, the world, right? We need to curate this energy, all right? So we need to learn that, okay, how can love be self-destructive? I don't really have an answer right off the top of my head, but we need to be aware of self-destructiveness. So when you are so passionate about something and so unbridledly giving and abundant, you know, sometimes we can fall off an edge, or we can fall off our own pedestal, or have these moments, and therefore that could be like harmful to ourselves or harmful to our perspective or situation. So balance. So we need to understand and learn ourselves, you know, am I Do I have the right boundaries here? Right? Those are good questions. And I'm not saying, is this helping my relationship or harming my relationship? So those are very good questions to ask. And then you can kind of navigate what that means, what, where, when, why. Okay? Okay. All right. So, oh, I love this. Okay. Our childhood, our child memories, our child, our inner child holds all our magic. Okay? They always say, love and look at the world through your child's, like not your child, but your inner child's eyes. Okay? Because that's where you're going to see magic. That's where you're going to see the potential, the hope, the possibilities. Okay? As kids, we used to move energy much easier and not even think about it. We might be able to attract and manifest so easily. Not even, of course, we had, parents look after us and look out for us and feed us and do all these things. So we didn't have a lot of these responsibilities and distractions. So we had a lot more freedom to experience in a loving, well, hopefully a loving environment and space. So this is a good place when we're talking to our inner child. So when we're talking to our inner child, it also has all this magic, as well as the shadow is all the burden. Okay, so if our inner child hands are too full with the burdens, the trauma, and the pain, and the suffering, and the disappointment that has been our life story, right? Then where's the magic? We've lost the magic because our inner child is too busy. Heal this. We haven't healed this, right? So let's focus on, in our place of retreat, to address what is it I'm holding on to that is unhealed. Because I guarantee you, your unhealed traumas and issues are energies, and they're attracting lessons for you to address those things. So if you want to change the course of events and what you keep attracting, change the dinner bell of energy, and that is your unhealed stuff. Okay, because when you have those things healed, your frequency energy changes, and so does everything you attract, and your karma can change overnight. Okay, love that. All right. Okay. So love is present here also a second time. Okay. So, when we are in love and we're giving things and we're being charming and romantic, you have to do these things in a way that your belief is, I'm nurturing something. I am creating a safe space for something, someone. Okay? We can't do those things with an expectation of an outcome, a goal, or something to gain. Okay? It can't be, I'm doing all this because I want a boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not doing all these things because I want love in return. No, we are doing these things because this is who we are, and this is the space we are creating, and that is holding space for this shared space with somebody. And this doesn't mean all things are going to be reciprocated, but the hope is they do that too, so then you can nurture and grow together. Now, the path of growing together is not going to be without challenges, is not going to be without you learning your karmas with and through and for each other. Okay? Because we all will I don't want to say we all will, but quite often we'll fall in love and be like, well, it's not the honeymoon phase anymore. I'm done. It's not easy. Nothing's going to be easy. When you love somebody, you work through things, and you also make changes for yourself and for the bigger picture, and to also have great resolve and great growth. Okay? There's going to be other rainbows and other blessings and situations when we do this work. Okay? You can't abandon things just because it ain't easy, or you didn't get your prize. Okay? So when you love somebody or in your relationship with somebody, you are holding space for yourself and them. Okay, so you have to let go of expectations, and you can't, okay, you can never give anybody anything and have attachment to what they do with that. Okay, so you can witness what they do with that, and you can love them or realize where you need to place them. Okay, but you can't be like, I gave that to you with expectation. That's not a gift. Okay. Okay. Is there others here? Let's see. We'll move on to this. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. All right. Just like we were talking about your magic, your inner child. I like this card. Put on your tinfoil hat. All right. So this world is so much more than what we're taught, shown, right? So we're not always going to be shown the truth by our teachers and leaders, governments, whatever. So your instincts, this is really encouraging you to tap into your higher self, spirit, God, okay, and your angels, and through prayer and meditation, receive the wisdom, be the clear, loving channel, and receive the wisdom, because quite often prayers are answered. You know, our questions that are, and everything we're pining for are manifestations, right? When we are navigating in this world, we can do better, I promise you. And that is by listening, okay? Listening and understanding, right? Might not always understand, okay, I'm going to listen, but why? But when you're shown the why later, you build that relationship, that intuition, that psychic development. Okay, so love this. This is just green light, go. All right. So I'm gonna say that this dance is crazy because you do have a lot of things that are trying to influence you. We have a lot of energy, a lot of waves out there that are trying to drive and control and manipulate. So you need to really learn who you are. Sit in the neutrality and the witness seat, through the mind, through your emotions and all these stimulations, and really become high consciousness and awareness. So my advice is, when you're meditating, ask yourself, raise your vibration, your frequency. Ask yourself to be neutral, to reduce your ego. I'm not going to say eliminate all your ego, because we do need to hang on to some pieces of ourselves. And ego does not mean what ego has been taught either. Okay, so ego is our story. Okay, so, and how we charge our story, right? So if we can sit back and be aware of our story, that is good. And to be neutral, this is a fun one. Okay, quite often I'll be like, make me 100% neutral. I will have no emotions, no thoughts, no feelings. It's completely void space. And I'll forget all the things I was panicked about, worried about, feared about. I'll be like, what did I want to ask? Because you're neutral. You are in the seat of awareness. And I really suggest practicing that lots, because as you do, you will become more aware. Okay? And with that awareness, you will have more freedom of communication of high self, spirit, and your inner child. All right. Okay. So we've been talking about anger, right? Okay. We have the actual F card here. So that means there's a lot of energies, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of story, there's a lot going on. Okay. So again, taking advantage of this meditation and prayer state, really learning to be neutral and witness. Be like, that's not important. That's not mine. I'm going to address this with myself. I am going to align myself better here. I'm going to forgive myself, have compassion for myself, and observe these things. I'm going to lighten the load of my inner child and therefore free up the magic. So therefore, I am going to be in a better place tomorrow. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. All right. All right. All right, so the stone that has come up for you guys is kyanite. And it's requesting that you make time for self-care. Taking care of yourself is essential right now. Okay, so I absolutely agree. That goes right back to one of the first cards, retreat. Okay, many blessings in your work, and I look forward to talking to you next time.